And where are all the white people? Why are they not in jail? How do they get to go home?
In just a few words, Harris County criminal judge Daryl Jordan confessed a social justice agenda that is simply getting people killed, worried more about the skin color of criminal defendants than job number one, protecting us. Hey Judge, none of us potential victims out here give a crap what color our killer might turn out to be. When someone tried to break into my home a few months back with my wife, daughter, and little grandson inside, I never asked what color the suspect was. I only cared that Precinct 1 constables came within minutes with their guns drawn to save them. Sadly, Daryl Jordan is not on the ballot this year. But next month, there are at least 7 judges who are on the ballot and must be thrown out of office. They all have blood on their robes. And over the next few weeks, I really want you to get to know their names. So when you go down the ballot, you can get rid of these soft on crime judges.
Because this has to change. It can't go on. There's going to be more victims like my mom.
He thought that was the best option, to run her over. It was been very hard because then we learned that he was out on bond.
The judges are hiding from you. The last time 232nd District Judge Josh Hill posted on his campaign Instagram account was back in May of 2021. And look at the reaction he got. How many people have to die before you do your effing job? With the help of Crime Stoppers Andy Kahn, we now know how many people have been murdered so far in the wake of Judge Hill's brand of justice. At least 10.
And make sure we get people like Judge Hill out. And he should never be able to be in a courtroom.
Andreas Patterson was Crystal's son. He was murdered.
He was very outgoing, loved sports. His smile, he had the biggest smile. And he just loved family.
Andreas was shot in his home, and this was the guy police say did it, Travion Tatum.
He's charged with murder after being out on bond for another murder.
It cost him just $5,000 to get back out on the street.
A man who was out on bond for murder is back behind bars tonight, arrested in another murder case.
So you let this kid get away with murder with a $50,000 bond, so he felt like he's invincible. So why not go keep killing?
It didn't help when Crystal found out that Tatum's lawyer at the time was one of Judge Hill's biggest campaign donors. 6 months later, Travion Tatum was back in jail, this time charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The DA repeatedly begged for his bond to be revoked. Judge Hill said no. He just raised it. But it's Judge Hill's demeanor in the face of crime victims that stuck with Crystal.
I've asked almost every time we went to court, could I have a different judge? Because every time we go in there, he's laughing, he's joking. And I understand Andreas is a case number to everybody else. But at least have sympathy.
Tatum would spend a year in jail before making bail this time. But Judge Hill had been warned.
According to court records, more than 40 shots were fired.
In February of this year, police say Travion Tatum struck again, shooting 20-year-old John Kelly during an attempted robbery.
You can kill anybody in Houston and be out on bond and given a low bond.
Judy Garcia's daughter Darlene was shot 5 times, and was left to die. Her ex-boyfriend was arrested in North Carolina where he fled and charged with the murder.
Relatives say 33-year-old Darlene Solis, the daughter of the Harris County Sheriff's deputy, was always the life of the party.
Corey Campbell had to pay just $7,500 in Judge Hill's court to get back out on the street.
He's enjoying life. He probably doesn't have no regrets of what he did. He's enjoying life while I'm giving a life sentence to mourn my child. Just guard your children all the time. Life is not the same. Times are not the same anymore.
And that's in part because of the soft on crime judges we elected back in 2018. A few were beaten in the primary this year. But the sorry 7, as I call them, are still on the bench. Apologists with blood on their robes.
We are well aware that there appears to be a surge of people committing crimes while out on bail for other crimes.
If voters had paid attention to Josh Hill before the last election, you could have almost predicted the trail of carnage to come.
I think people are starting to finally realize that being tough on crime and locking somebody up doesn't really help anything other than to teach somebody how to survive in prison.
No, Judge Hill, it keeps the killers off our streets.
All that money that we could put into more police on the streets could be put towards education or community programs to try and divert people away from even going down that pathway in the first place.
No, Judge Hill, I want cops to protect my family and yours.
It's like he's for the murderers instead of the victim.
Tonight we've got one walking among us with 16 bonds.
In their breaking bond investigation, Fox 26 told us of the disgusting trail of Andrew Cruz. 16 felonies, 6 aggravated. And every time, Judge Hill granted him bond, a way out of jail. And the icing on the cake is that we have to keep paying for his lawyer every single time.
And from where we sit, when is enough is enough.
For Judy Garcia and Crystal Johnson, this November is a chance for real justice.
When is my daughter gonna get justice? With these judges giving them a slap in the hand, it's like, what do I have? What do I have to look forward to when we go to court?
And we have to make sure we review and research and make sure we get people like Judge Hill out, and like he should never be able to be in a courtroom.